There are places you visit, and then there are places that quietly remove you from everything you thought was normal. Isle Royale National Park is one of those places.
No highways cutting through it, no cities surrounding it, no easy way in, and no quick way out. Located in Lake Superior, in the state of Michigan, in the upper Midwest, on the northern side of the United States of America, on the North American continent, this national park is not just remote, it is intentionally disconnected. You don't accidentally end up here, you commit to it.
And that's where the tension begins, because the moment you leave the mainland behind, everything changes. The water stretches endlessly in every direction, cold, heavy, and deceptively calm. Lake Superior isn't just a lake, it behaves more like an inland sea. Its surface can stay quiet for hours, then shift into violent motion without warning. And sitting out there, surrounded by nothing but water and sky, is Isle Royale.
An island that doesn't operate on human convenience. An island that doesn't care if you're ready for it. As you approach, the first thing you notice is how untouched it looks. Dense forests cover the land like a closed system. Rocky shorelines form a natural barrier. There are no visible signs of urban life, no infrastructure competing with the landscape. It feels sealed off, not abandoned, but protected from interference. And once you step onto it, you realize something immediately. This place runs on its own rules. Isle Royale is not a park designed for casual tourism. It is one of the least visited national parks in the United States, not because it lacks value, but because access itself is a filter. You get here by ferry or seaplane. That barrier alone removes the noise, the crowds, the distractions, the sense of control people are used to having in most environments. What remains is isolation. Real isolation. The kind that resets your awareness. The island itself is part of a larger archipelago, with over 400 smaller surrounding islands scattered across Lake Superior. But Isle Royale is the largest and the most complex. It stretches over rugged terrain shaped by ancient geological forces, rock ridges, dense boreal forest, inland lakes, wetlands, and shoreline cliffs carved by water and time. This is not flat land. It's layered, uneven, and constantly shifting in subtle ways. But what truly defines Isle Royale isn't just its geography, it's its ecosystem. Because this island holds one of the most studied predator-prey relationships in the world, wolves and moose. No fences, no human management controlling their numbers. Just a closed-loop natural system operating in real time. The moose arrived first, likely swimming or crossing ice from the mainland decades ago. With no major predators initially, their population expanded. Then came the wolves, crossing the frozen lake during a harsh winter. And once they arrived, the balance changed permanently. Since then, Isle Royale has become a living laboratory where scientists study how predator and prey populations rise and fall over time. When wolf numbers increase, moose populations decline. When wolves decrease, moose numbers rise again. It's a cycle driven by survival, not intervention. And what makes it intense is the isolation. There is no backup system here. If something collapses, it collapses fully. Over the years, even the wolves themselves faced genetic challenges due to inbreeding, pushing their population toward near extinction at one point. Humans eventually stepped in, not to control the system, but to stabilize it, reintroducing wolves to prevent total collapse. Even in isolation, balance sometimes needs correction. But beyond the science, there's something deeper happening here. Because when you move through Isle Royale, you begin to notice how quiet it is. Not peaceful quiet, system quiet. There are no distant engines, no traffic hum, no artificial noise leaking into the environment. The only sounds are natural. Wind through trees, water hitting rock, the occasional movement of wildlife. And that absence of human noise changes how you experience everything. Time slows, not literally, but perceptually. Your brain adjusts. You start noticing details you would normally ignore. The texture of the ground, the rhythm of waves, the spacing of trees. Your awareness sharpens because there's nothing competing for your attention. And then there's the unpredictability. Weather on Lake Superior is not stable. Conditions can shift fast. Clear skies turning into fog, calm water becoming rough, temperatures dropping without warning. And because of the island's isolation, you don't have the safety net you're used to. There's no quick exit, no immediate backup. You are in the system, not above it. Even the trails reflect this reality. They are not heavily engineered or simplified for ease. They follow the natural terrain, up ridges, through forests, across wetlands. Movement here requires effort. It requires awareness. And that creates a different kind of engagement. You're not just walking, you're navigating. Every step is part of a larger interaction with the environment. Wildlife encounters reinforce that feeling. Moose move through the forests with a presence that feels almost prehistoric. They're large, quiet, and unpredictable if approached too closely. Wolves are rarely seen, but their existence is felt. Tracks, distant howls, signs of movement. They remind you that you are not the only active participant in this space. This is not a zoo. There are no boundaries separating observer and subject. You are inside the system, and that changes behavior. People speak less, move slower, pay more attention, because subconsciously there's an understanding that this environment doesn't adjust for human comfort. It exists independently, and you're just passing through it. The isolation also creates a psychological shift that not everyone expects. Without constant digital connection, without urban stimulation, without the usual structures of routine, your mind starts processing differently. Thoughts stretch out. Time feels less segmented. There's space to think, but also nowhere to escape your own thoughts. For some, that's clarity. For others, it's discomfort. Either way, it's real. Isle Royale doesn't distract you. It exposes you to your own awareness, and that's part of what makes it powerful. From a geological perspective, the island itself is ancient, formed from volcanic activity and shaped over millions of years by glacial movement. The ridges you walk on are not random. They are the exposed remains of ancient lava flows, tilted and carved by ice over time. The entire island is essentially a geological archive, layered with history far older than anything human. And yet, despite that age, the system here feels immediate, alive. Not in a dramatic, explosive way like a volcano, but in a quiet, continuous way. Everything is operating. Nothing is paused. The water moves. The wildlife adapts. The ecosystem balances itself. And you, for a brief moment, become part of that flow. That's the reality of Isle Royale National Park. It's not built for entertainment. It's not optimized for convenience. It's not designed to impress you with obvious spectacle. Instead, it pulls you into a space where nature operates without adjustment, without simplification, without compromise. A place where isolation isn't a drawback, it's the core feature. Where silence isn't empty, it's structured. And where the absence of human control reveals what systems look like when they are left to run on their own. Because out here, in the middle of Lake Superior, far from the mainland, far from the noise, far from everything familiar, you realize something simple but uncomfortable. You are not in control here. You never were.